one of the things that we so enjoy about 3+U is the opportunity to talk and have conversations with people that we otherwise wouldn't get to learn from. Sometimes, though, as great as the hour can be, I'm sure you'd like for the conversation to continue, and we're not alone in loving those conversations. So tonight at the Chattery, they're having an hour-and-a-half long conversation featuring our good friend Charles Miller, who's a regular on the show from Scenic Neurotherapy, and he's bringing with him his good friend Anna McCurdy, who is with Railroad Valley Therapeutics. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So I will admit, going into this conversation, I'm a little confused. And the only reason is because when you talk to Charles for any length of time, besides learning that he really loves what he does and believes in it, you're a very scientific guy.
Yeah, and I try to keep it on a level everyone can understand, but I sometimes derail into the deeper neuroscience.
Yep, you're name dropping with me this morning. I'm going to just tell you right off the front, because we were talking a little bit about what this intention is for tonight, and you began to rattle off some terminology that y'all might hear, and so we'll try to clarify it. But the idea is, in all things you do at Scenic City Neurotherapy, you don't do it alone.
Right.
So you walk hand in hand with people like Anna to help clients through depression, anxiety, PTSD, etc.
From a mental health perspective, we are definitely not a one-stop shop. We're like the first step in a new way of managing mental health, but we still need the follow-up, and that's what Anna provides. She is, if we were the knee replacement, her role, the psychotherapy component, is like physical therapy. It builds the patient so they can actually utilize what we've done.
Okay, but whenever you're going through a journey where you're trying to get your mental health stronger, people would like to let the journey be as short as possible, right? So
Right.
knowing how to get there is important. You have a lot of questions to ask. So tonight at the Chattery, this is called Demystifying Psychedelics in Mental Health.
Right.
So ketamine that you use
Right.
in some observations is considered a psychedelic, but not in the way that people typically think. Is that right?
Right. It doesn't produce hallucinations like what people would imagine a psychedelic to do. It's a dissociative anesthetic. The best we can create is an anesthetic or dreamlike state, like twilight anesthesia. It is the most controllable, it's the safest version of all of the treatments that are called, using a big word called psychoplastogens. They stimulate connections between brain cells, enhancing the way our brain communicates with itself and with the body.
Okay.
And so what we're doing is we use this low-dose anesthetic to push on the brain. The brain actually responds and sends out these proteins that start to rebuild connections. And we're going to talk in depth about why and how that improves quality of life in people who struggle with their mental health.
Okay, so there's your building block A that you'll learn about, is how this works and why it works. So then Anna, you step in to be step B, because you're going to help people then know, once that regrowth is beginning to happen, what are the most effective ways to deal with therapy and executing some new life practices. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, so I'll be talking about different models that are out there that are in practice, and why some are more effective than others, like what Charles does and how I partner with him, and some basic brain science on why that is. And then also, I'll be guiding through some experiential practices to help those people who are already in the process.
So what does that mean exactly, an experiential practice? What does that look like?
Oh gosh, so just coping skills is the basic thing. So any skill-based learning is changing your brain.
Okay.
And so whatever therapy you're already doing, whatever therapy you want to engage in, if done in conjunction with ketamine treatment, can boost the potential of, helpful outcomes.
Okay. So let me ask you something. First of all, this event tonight at the Chattery, do you think most beneficial for people who are currently struggling with mental health themselves, or is it also beneficial for a family member or friend who wants to better understand how to help?
We do so much in education around the community, and the reason being is because we want a well-informed populace. People need to understand what we do, and more importantly, what we're not doing.
Okay.
This is not some sort of, finding answers in the ether type treatment. This is very subconscious. It's very physiologic. It's not, we're changing the subconscious ways the brain communicates, not so much the conscious logical you.
Okay.
If you didn't like somebody yesterday, you're not going to like them tomorrow. It's not that kind of, we're not changing the underlying fundamentals of you. We are optimizing the emotional responses to the stimuli as the world happens around you.
So we live in a very busy world. Is some of what people achieve when they come to you, and I'll then say the two of you, whoever the partnership tends to be, at the end though, is the goal to better understand yourself? If you don't understand your own self, can you find that healing?
I'd say that's true. Understanding yourself is very important, but I think that's honestly with the work that you do with Anna more than even with me.
That's one way to affect brain change. So you don't necessarily need the insight to create new neural pathways that promote health.
Yeah. We're not consciously driving new growth. The new growth occurs in spite of us.
Okay.
No matter what we think or feel, we're not driving these new pathways. Now, the utilization of those pathways, it's like building roads. We want roads that go everywhere. But where we actually decide to take those roads, what vacation or what trip we're taking, we pick the right roads and send the signal. Now we just need to make sure there's a road that goes there.
Poor Anna. Whenever Charles and I talk, we always end up in these rabbit hole conversations, but there's so much interesting, easier ways to try to understand mental health, because it is clearly everywhere in this country. And if we don't all understand it, how do we get
So
ahead?
that's one of the goals of tonight, is explaining how what you're doing in therapy is affecting your physiology. I'll be talking about different ways the brain processes information, and how that applies to the therapy that you're doing. So you asked who is the appropriate audience. And I think the information that we're providing tonight is good for both lay people with mental health issues that they're working on, and also professionals.
Okay.
If they want to understand how what they're doing integrates with this process and the best model.
I'm sure they're got to wrap it up. How much does it cost to go tonight? All proceeds, I know, benefit the Chattery.
Yeah, we're giving everything back to the Chattery to support future classes. $10
Okay.
is...
Do they just pay at the door?
I believe they can pay online. I think there's the way to pay at the door as well.
Okay.
But either way,
If I share with them the office contact information, can people call your office with more questions if they have it on how to get?
Absolutely.
Okay. Plus, you might want to know how to get in touch with him or with Anna. So there's Anna's information first. She's right down the road from us on Dayton Boulevard. 208-9206 is her phone number. RailroadValley.com is the website. And then at Scenic City Neurotherapy over on Shallowford Road, their phone number is 228-0579. ScenicCityNeurotherapy.com is their website. And it begins at the Chattery tonight at 6, runs until 7:30.
That's right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.